In today's lesson, we are going to discuss how you create objects to place in your game. The objects are the things that we actually use to put in the game. So far, we have been discussing sprites. Please open up a new game. We're going to begin by creating a sprite. Remember, sprites are the faces that go on our object. Click on the Create a Sprite icon. Rename your sprite SPR underscore player. That's SPR underscore PLAYER. Instead of going in to edit a sprite, we are going to load a sprite so that we can access one that has already been created. Click on Load Sprite. The sprite that we're using is called Player, and it can be found in the VGD Resources Sprites folder. Once you get to that folder, click on Player. Note that the preview of the player is shown in the box. Make sure that the Remove Background button is checked so that the sprite does not have a background to it. And then click Open. Then click OK. Now that we have our player, we need to create an object for the player. On your toolbar, you'll notice a blue ball that's called Create an Object. Click on Create an Object. When the Object Properties box comes up, we are going to rename it OBJ underscore player. Each object that we create is going to have the same name as the player, except with a different prefix. Now that we have chosen the name for our object, we need to choose the sprite that we're going to place on this object. Right below the name, click on the box that says No Sprite, and then choose the sprite that you want to use on this object. Once you have this done, you're given the option for the sprite to be visible or solid. Of course, you want it to be visible in your room. And because this is a player and it will perform certain events, we do not want it solid. Click OK. Now that we have our player and we have the object for our player, we're going to place him in the room. On the toolbar at the top of your game, click on the Create a Room icon. Once the Room Properties box comes up, you can maximize it. Note that the default settings for your room is 640 by 480 pixels. You'll also note that once you open up your room, the Objects tab is already checked. Because we only have one object, you can see the object player that's inside. This is the current object that we're working on. If this is not selected, you would end up selecting it from the area below. Now that this object is selected, simply click inside your room where you want to place your player. And now you have placed your player in their first room.